Hello folks, and welcome to the channel, or welcome back. And in this video we're going to do a little bit of different work than what we are normally used to. And most of my videos are about cars and repairing classic cars and some house restoration, more specifically restoration of parts of the farm. But in this video series we're going to start working on a tractor, and more specifically a David Brown. And you're probably wondering why I'm now starting another project, because I haven't even finished Old Rusty, I haven't finished all the cars that I was working on, and I haven't finished the house. But there is very good reasons for that. Although the farm is retired, it still requires a lot of attention. The barns and the buildings have to be maintained, and there's a lot of tilting and lifting to be done, but also the garden has to be maintained, or the land has to be maintained, and all that is high maintenance, and for that you need tools, ample of tools. So I've been going around for many years collecting old tractors and old forklifts and all kind of old machinery that nobody else wanted anymore. And then you can buy this for a very cheap price, and then I'm trying to restore it and put it back into a working condition so I can actually use it on the farm. So if you think that I'm rich, I have to disappoint you. I'm not. I gotta work hard for my living. And you might have seen that I'm using a lot of those machines in the videos when I'm restoring the farm. Well, this is actually a forklift that I picked up about 15 years ago, and then I restored it. I picked it up for about $200. That was all I paid for it. It's an ex-German Army forklift, very heavy duty. It's actually a Clark. Oh, that's the brand. So it's a diesel, and it can lift about 2,000 kilograms. Not very high, about 3 meters, but that's about it. But for that, the rest, it's a great tool. Yeah, it doesn't look pretty, but it does the job. Now guys, I don't want to brag about the old things I have, but I just want to give you an idea of what is out here. Because I got a lot of comments that I don't continue on Old Rusty and on all the other cars. And there's good reason for that, because I have to do many things at the same time. And by the way, Old Rusty will come back very soon. I'm still waiting for some critical parts, by the way. Alright, so just going to show you a couple more machinery that I actually bought and repaired myself not that long ago, so you have an idea. This is a lift platform from JLC, and you can actually pick those up very cheap because they're subject to inspections, and if they fail the safety inspection for some very silly rules sometimes, that there's no control paddle or something like this, companies write them off, and they can't use them anymore commercially, so they can go on the private market, and that's where you can pick them up for very good prices. This actual lift costed me something around 600 euros, and I got a proper lift. I had to change the batteries, of course, but these are all great tools to buy. So I really recommend, if you're into this kind of work, restoration work, that you buy the proper tools. And this is a Case Construction King, a 580F that I picked up from the local city when they were selling out all their old stuff. And this specific case is a backhoe, so I have a shovel in the front and I have a digging arm in the back. And it came with different buckets, so it was very cheap. I got it for 700 euros some time ago. It took a bit of time to restore this case to a working condition because some of the axles were worn out, so I had to replace those, and a lot of the seals on the cylinders were leaking. But now that's kind of alright. It's a bit dusty now because it's been sitting here for a while and I haven't been using it for at least 6 months or so. It's an occasional use, but whenever I need to dig something or drag something or shuffle something up, then I'm actually using this backhoe. So it's a pretty good tool, and it beats going out renting equipment, because if you're going to go out and rent kit, it's going to cost you very quickly the price I paid for this machine actually. So as you can see, you can pick up many things. So I think I talked enough about machinery now. So now let's have a closer look why I need an additional tractor. You probably wonder why the hell I'm going to get another tractor, especially since I already have one. And those of you that have watched the fix of the cylinder head of this MF35 might remember this tractor, but this is a good tractor. Now, a mower works great on the Massey Ferguson. It has ample of power, the MF35, but it doesn't have enough hydraulic power. So this hatch is the real reason why I need another tractor. Now this hatch is about 500 meters long all around the farm, and I have to cut this twice or 3 times a year. So that is a lot of work. I've been trimming the hatch for many years by hand, but by now the hatch is too tall and too wide to continue doing it by hand. So I got myself a second-hand Chinese-built hatch trimmer. Those of you that have seen me using this hatch trimmer in another video know that this is not the greatest quality, that it had quite some issues, but it was cheap. Maybe I'm just a cheap guy, I don't know. Anyhow, I think the hydraulic motor is all right, the hoses are okay, the mechanical construction is all right, and even the cutting blade is okay. However, the part that's not okay on this hatch trimmer is actually the controls. These are cable controls. The blade itself, or the cutting blade, that's quite all right. It is solid, but one of the other issues that we have with this is this whole mechanism here. As you can see, it is already worn out and I barely used it. And see all the play. So we have to fix this, and we're going to replace this completely with a new system. And you'll see that in one of the coming videos. The control levers for the hatch are really, really pitiful. They don't really work properly. The cables are no good, so the valves in the back are not controlled properly. So it's very hard to control the movement of the arm of the hatch trimmer. So I'm going to change all this. I'm going to get rid of all this. I'm going to change the valve block with an electrical valve block, and I will replace all this with a joystick, fully electrical, so no more cables. Now that's going to come out in another video, probably later on this winter, once I've finished off cutting the hatch this time. We're going to change the valve control block here with solenoids, and then I should have hopefully sufficient oil, volume and pressure to drive it, and that's something I did not have on my Massey Ferguson. So now you know why I had to get another tractor. A tractor that is able to drive the hydraulic hatch trimmer, sufficient volume of oil and pressure. And what I've got right here is a David Brown 990 Selectomatic. I have taken the bonnet off the tractor so we can work on it easier. There's a bit of work on the bonnet itself. It is a bit of rust on it, and somebody painted it with a paintbrush, but I'm going to blast it and we give it a new paint coat later on this winter. But now, first of all, we'll have to do some maintenance on the tractor so I can use it. A great tractor built in 1970, developing around 58 horsepower. This tractor is as it came. I just got it for 900 euros, and you'll see what we're going to do on this one. We need to do a bit of work on it. But let me show you how easy it starts. It's amazing because it's sitting here cold. It's not warm at all, and I'll just put my hand on it so you can actually see it. So it's cold. It's actually ice cold. It's been sitting here overnight, and you will be surprised how fast it's going to start. Like I said, the engine is cold, so I'm going to give it a cold start, and let's see if it's going to work or not. Make sure it doesn't jump forward. So let's see. Hey, look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I know the muffler is off, but it starts immediate. I have a bit of smoke coming out, but then again, the engine is cold. All right, so plenty of things to do. So the maintenance we're going to do on the tractor is changing the oil filter and the diesel filters, changing the engine oil, of course, topping up the or replacing the cooling fluid, checking the belt, checking the valves, and then we're going to work on the hydraulic system in the back. We're going to grease all the axles and the pivoting points on the grease nipples, and we'll check the play. And the play on this tractor isn't too bad on the wheels. Let me show you. See that? This is really good. There's nothing wrong with it. I can see that the front axle is moving a bit, but I think that's quite normal because that should be in kind of a pivoting point. So that may be a bit of a problem. And I also need to check the hydraulic pump because I don't think it's delivering the pressure or the volume it should. The pump is all the way in the back, and it's actually part of the complete gearbox and PTO assembly. We're going to change the oil in the gearbox, and the oil is used both for the hydraulic system but also for the gearbox itself. And I think it's around 22-25 liters of oil. That's quite a bit of oil. And it's called agriculture oil. I believe it is a 10W30, something like that, but I need to check it. We also will change the hydraulic oil filter, which is all the way on the bottom, and that's maybe something we'll do in this video still. Yes, and then we'll have to run up some new cabling here because the cabling is a bit shitty. But for the rest, this is a great tractor. So folks, there is more videos to come now on working on tractors, and for those of you that subscribed for the Massey Ferguson tractor, well, now you're going to see some more stuff on the David Brown, the 990. And for those that subscribe for Old Trusty, the motor is almost complete. I'm still waiting a few little parts like hoses and some tubes, and then we'll be able to start it up. That's coming very soon. I know I've been promising it, but the parts don't come in. I don't know why that is, maybe because of COVID, but it's coming, guys, so don't worry about it. There is more to come as well, and it will continue. The same thing is true for the Mini, and the same thing is true for the MG, and even the Lotus Elise we are still working on. And then finally, you will still see videos coming up on the house, the renovation of the old farm. So folks, I wanted to make this video to explain a bit to you what is to come, but also why sometimes things don't progress as fast as you would like to see it progressing. So now I hope that you have a bit of an idea on what kind of stuff I do, because some people ask me sometimes, Steve, what do you do in your free time? Well, this is all the stuff I do. So as you could see, there's many things that I have to maintain. There's many things that I'm trying to rebuild at the same time while maintaining the house and the garden and the different cars and tractors, and that takes a lot of time. So if you don't see a video that you like to see or a continuation of a certain series fast enough, well, this is the reason, and I'm not going to apologize for it, but I hope you can understand it. All right, so guys, I'll see you in the next video, which is coming up very soon. Bye-bye.